Welcome to Other Worlds Oracles, a show where we build fictional worlds through designing fortune-telling cards. I'm Autumn, and I seek harmony from the cards.
Ooh.
Yeah. On today's show, we have invited the wonderful Zack, stray song dog Loup. And Zack, what do you seek from the cards?
Guidance
Guidance in any particular way, or just kind of in general?
in general, but today I was thinking guidance from just for getting 2 steps that I need to get through for this
Yeah,
month.
absolutely. I mean, there's always so much to do.
There's always so much. Like, my deck is just like, "You need to rest," and I'm like, "Shh, don't worry about it. We'll do that later."
Well, yeah, you always have a lot going on because, you're an artist, a musician, a writer, a small business owner. You're doing all sorts of things.
Too many things.
Is that what the deck has told you before?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know about you, but like whenever I feel like I try to cut something off, it just kind of seems to hurt all the other things too.
Oh, definitely. They're all connected. And if I ever think, maybe I should just focus on this one thing that, especially if that one thing is just a money thing and not like a personal fulfillment thing, it always comes back in a bad way.
Yeah, I know.
So it's important to do that balance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And maybe guidance can help with that balance. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. I think sometimes the cards tell me things I need to hear when I'm focusing my energies incorrectly.
You were talking about reading your own, is it tarot, oracle?
I usually read tarot, but I
Yeah.
do also have some oracle decks. I have so many of them. Some of my favorites are I love the Pacific Northwest tarot, which someone just like gave to me. I don't even live in the Pacific Northwest, but a lot of my favorite animals do, and I was just like, I instantly
Yeah.
was like, I love this deck so much. So I use that one a lot, and I also use I think it's Tarot of the Pagan Cats. It's like a mini deck, and it's
Hmm.
got these cute little kitty cats. So it's like sometimes it's nice when you're getting like hard truth, but it's like, but you get to see cute little kitty cats. So those are two of my favorite decks to use. Of course, I have my own deck, the Divine Canine, as well.
Yes.
I actually ended up giving someone my original copy of the original deck, so now I'm gonna have to grab one of my second edition of the deck.
Oh.
Yeah. Of
Gotcha.
course, I'm proud of the original too, but I think I like the second edition a lot better overall anyways, so it works out.
Yeah. What was that like to work on like that much art?
It's a lot. I mean, that's an understatement. Like, it's one of those things that you think 78 cards doesn't sound like a lot until you realize you have to draw 78 cards. Actually, flipping through the deck, it goes so quickly, but it's a lot of art to do. It's a lot of planning, like, especially the
Yeah.
major arcana. The minors, I
Hmm.
had a lot more freedom, I guess, to just kind of like, choose any canine specifically within the parameters that I had set up. But the major arcana, I decided I wanted to connect every single card to an existing canine entity of some sort. And there's a lot of canine entities that are like death gods and stuff. And I was just like, well, I don't need this many death gods. So I had to do some deep
Hmm.
dives to find some suitable ones for some of the cards. And that was a lot of research too, which added to the time. It
Yeah.
was just a lot. I'm actually, maybe next year because I need to take a break from it, but I'm thinking of doing a book about canine mythology with like art from the tarot deck and then drawing some of the mythology figures I didn't get to use and writing like a little page with their mythology and where it's from as kind of an art book slash mythology book. And it's something I'm excited about doing, but also not ready to do yet. It's a someday project.
Sure. I mean, it's hard to pace yourself over the course of a like lifetime. I can only imagine how many ideas you have. I mean, I have mine, but I it seems like you just keep coming up with them.
Yeah, that's my blessing and my curse. I
Yeah.
started the Divine Canine 2 last June because I
Mm-hmm.
started running out of copies of the original tarot deck, and
Mm-hmm.
there were certain things that I wanted to improve upon, and then at first I was like, "Oh, well, I'll only redraw these cards," and then I ended up redrawing the whole thing because I was like, "Well, now the cards don't match because my art style has changed so much."
Yeah. Darn improvement. Or change, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that death card, a little bit of that Wheel of Fortune card.
Yeah. So, you've talked about reading your own cards. Have you ever had your fortune read by somebody
I
else?
have. My wife is actually a tarot reader semi-professionally, so
Wow.
sometimes I'll ask for my wife to give me a reading, which is always funny because I feel like they kind of pull punches. But I also am like, no, but you have different interpretations of these cards, so I love to hear
Yeah.
your interpretations versus mine.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Speaking of interpretations, would you like to have a reading now from one of our cards?
I would love to.
Awesome. We've built how many now? I think 8 cards. They aren't illustrated at all, but we just kind of have come up with the visual concept and the idea of what their meanings could be. But most of them, we're trying not to repeat draws, so we just have 2 that haven't been picked yet.
Ooh. That sounds so much more intense than, like, a whole deck is just like, which one is gonna be one of these 2?
Exactly. Yeah. So, can you pick a number for me, 1 or 2?
2.
2. Excellent. Well, you will get to receive the card that was made about an hour ago. Uh,
Oh, fresh off the presses.
Absolutely. So, this one is called The Amateur's Eye. And the description is inside a well regarded steampunk airship. A young black trans man at the start of his career studies a book to bolster his green book smarts with others' lived experiences. A pocket watch glints the light from an open window that shows the top of a city skyline. This young man finds himself in an intersection of transitions, rising but not at altitude, grown but not experienced, clever but not wise. So he turns to the past for answers for his future, drawing upon the strength of the many who came before him.
Ooh.
Yeah. And, we were kind of thinking about this having some kind of meanings around in a state of shifting and change. That's also an opportunity as long as you are able to take the action and seize it.
Definitely.
And if you're prepared for it and reflect on your own experiences and the experiences of others, you're better able to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I think of rest as preparation too.
Yeah, I definitely need some rest. Not to show off like I went to the gym, but I went back to the gym for the first time this week, and I
Yeah.
went for 3 days in a row, trying to create a habit. But today my body was just like, do not. So today I did not go. But you know what? I think that's valid. I think sometimes rest is the best gift we can give ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's when our muscles build, right? Is like not during the breaking of exertion, but during the healing of rest. And I always think that's really interesting.
Yeah, that Four of Swords energy. You gotta rest.
Yeah. Not to, hit you over the head again with that message, but that's
Yeah. No, I always get that one.
I feel like I very much need to hear that message as well sometimes, so
Yeah.
So, going back to another question, what is your experience with world building and storytelling?
I have so much.
Yeah.
Basically, since the moment I could hold a crayon as a kid, I've been
Mhm.
creating worlds and
Yeah.
stories. It started off, of course, with like just creating stories within pre-existing worlds, like Pokemon or something when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And then I started creating my own worlds.
Mhm.
The last decade or so, I've been working on this one world that is the setting for both my recent novel, Friendly Fire, and my comic
Yes.
book, Psychopomp, but
Mhm.
they are set in completely different times in the same world, despite taking place in the same world. But it's been nice because I can just reuse locations and know
Yeah.
what they mean without having to create something new for both of them. And that one has taken up probably most of my world building creativity lately, just because that's been my main focus.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's far from the only world I've created. There's a lot of them that someday I'll dust off and do something
Yeah.
with, I'm sure.
Sometimes you have to let things percolate a little bit, right?
Definitely. My novel I just released was in the works for over a decade. I think I clocked
Yeah.
it in at 12 years. Like parts of it rewritten like a billion times. So sometimes you really do like percolate is a good word, or marinate is the other one that I use.
Yeah, just letting things ripen and develop and get to know each other, the ideas.
Yeah, it's like making a good soup. Like if you leave it in the
Yeah.
pot longer, the flavors meld together.
Hmm. Well, I would love to be able to use some of that expertise of yours to be able to build a card. Does that sound okay to you?
Of course.
Awesome. So, the way this is going to work is that we're going to design a card similar to the ones in a tarot or oracle deck with three main characteristics: a setting, a main character called the arcana, and some kind of artifact called the symbol. We will draw cards with prompts and assign them to each characteristic, giving us a direction to start in. From there, we will build on each concept until we have fleshed out a story combining all three elements. We will then determine what the card will look like and what its meanings could
Very
be.
cool.
So let's take a look at our cards here. It's getting a little slim because I haven't printed out the new cards that people have been making, but we have our deck. And first one is travel. There's a little airplane.
Ooh, love it.
We have travel. Do we want to put that in the setting, the arcana, or the symbol?
Hmm. I think setting maybe. Even though
Okay.
it's kind of nebulous, but
I kind of like the idea of it being a setting that's either moving or in transition or any number of other kind of things we could play with that, though. I like it.
yeah.
Cool. So then the second card is sea, like the ocean.
Wow, now that's gonna be a challenge because we've chosen travel for our setting, and that is very much a setting. But I guess that could also be an arcana. I feel like we could make a character out of the sea in
I
some
think so.
way.
Yeah, or the symbol. Do you think arcana, though?
We're gonna be brave and go with that. I may have
Okay.
come to regret that when you pull the next card.
Let's see what we got. The symbol is loss.
Loss.
Yeah. It's a little vigil candle here.
Hmm.
And that'll be the symbol. It doesn't have to be a candle, but that has to symbolize loss.
Yeah, interesting.
A setting of travel, a arcana of the sea, and a symbol of
This is
loss.
gonna make a really interesting card.
Let's see. Well, where do we want to begin? With the setting, or do you want to try to build the arcana first?
I say the arcana. I think they're gonna be our
Okay,
driving force here.
that makes sense. So, what does the sea make you think of?
Listen, I love the ocean so much.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, it's terrifying. A lot
Uh
of my
huh.
favorite animals live in it.
Yeah.
But I think it also plays very well with the theme of loss, just because it has been
Mm,
host to a lot of tragedies, because it is big and terrifying and full of
yeah.
mystery. And I also think sometimes, specifically the word sea, it makes me think of seaside rather than the ocean
Hmm.
itself. And that kind
Yeah.
of makes me think of like standing on the edge of the sea wistfully. That could also play with the theme as well, as someone who
Yeah.
is on the edge of the ocean, maybe about to board a ship or a boat to leave behind something that's no longer working for them. I don't know. What do your thoughts so far on that? Uh-oh, might be frozen. While we were waiting, or while I was waiting and you were fighting for your life over there, um, I had an idea specifically. I was thinking about a character who represents the sea and has lost something, and I was reminded of a Selkie, the
Yeah.
myth of usually a woman who is also a seal, and
Hmm.
when she takes off her seal fur, she becomes a human, and that can
Mm.
be stolen and turn her permanently into a human.
Hmm.
which could be an interesting thing to play with for loss for the ocean.
I really like that idea for a character though, of like, do you know more about like kind of what their meaning in legend and myth kind of typically comes out to, or
They are from Irish, Scottish, and Scandinavian traditions, according to the Google machine.
gotcha.
Usually, when a Selkie becomes a human,
Yeah,
they end up spending their life longing for the sea, which they can't actually return to.
right.
But I'm not sure how that ties in with travel. I was so caught up on ocean and loss, I was like, we're cooking. But how,
Yeah.
I guess maybe they could, oh, here's the thought. Maybe they could be in a boat so close yet so far to the thing that they miss.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking. And I like that. Is that terrible of me?
No, I mean that's what we're going for, I think, with this theme of loss. It's gotta have that bittersweet edge to it, I think.
Yeah. They're in their human form right now, is what you're saying.
Yes.
What would they look like?
Well, Selkies are usually, I assume they're gonna be cis women, but we're gonna make this fun and queer and say that
Uh-huh.
she's a trans woman
Yes, I
because
was hoping you would say that.
yeah, let's not just play it straight and be boring here. And I think she has like long, kind of pin straight black hair, as if like it always looks as if it's wet, even though she's out of the water. Like she's
Yeah,
just come from swimming, and she has like stormy grayish blue eyes that look like the way that the sky and the ocean interplay in the northern countries where this
yeah,
mythology comes from. And maybe she even has like some freckles or mottles on her skin that kind of are almost seal like in the way that they color her.
yeah. I see the gears turning.
Yeah, the gears are definitely turning. And I feel like her clothing would be kind of flowy and fluid, almost like the ocean itself, like
Yeah,
perhaps some kind of silken wrap or something like that.
yeah. It seems like that longing is just kind of written into all of her appearance.
Yeah, I think that would be the visual cues there. I would go for
Yeah,
things that conjure the feeling of a sea creature who's um who's out of their depth now.
yeah.
I know that no one has drawn their card yet, but I'm almost definitely going to draw this too.
Oh.
Just just so we know. Maybe not today, but it'll happen.
Well, you certainly don't have to, but that'd be very cool if you did. But whatever you want to do is up to you. It is interesting because like I got about 5 or 6 cards in before I was talking to a friend and I'm like, "Oh, I'm making a visual themed podcast. That's a little strange." And they looked at me like, "You that never occurred to you?"
It's definitely different, but I like it though. As I mean, I have a pretty strong imagination, so
Yeah.
even just visualizing the stuff in my head, it's like it paints quite a picture.
Yeah.
But as someone who does literally paint, sometimes I do feel the urge to put the picture on the page
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of colors come to mind for you when you're thinking about this?
for this whole card.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like the main color is kind of almost like a stormy gray, like
Uh-huh.
when the sky is like that cool greenish, bluish color, like you know that it's gonna be an intense storm, or there
Yeah.
has been an intense storm. And
Hmm.
then there's like sort of the ocean is like that deep blue green that it
Yeah.
can be when it's cloudy. And then the Selkie, I think I'm thinking of actually some more gentler colors for her. Like I don't know why, but periwinkle, like sort of that purplish blue, is a
Yeah.
very like it's a melancholy color to me. I think that's her clothing color.
I could see that.
Or
Yeah.
mayhaps over like a black dress or something, because that's also a color associated with loss and mourning.
Hmm. Do you think that this particular Selkie has a specific origin or legend to her?
Well, let's figure that out, why don't we? The gears are turning.
Yes.
I think maybe she thought, like, almost Little Mermaid-esque, but reverse. Like, she thought she wanted to be a human, and then she's also kind of mourning what she's given up
Yeah.
in her quest for legs. It's like the cost of becoming, I suppose,
Hmm.
is, like in order to be one thing, sometimes you have to give up on this other idea of what you could be or what you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in order to spend more time seeing above the realm where she had mostly spent her life, she had to give up on the ability to have that life.
Yeah. Or at least to have that life as simply like
Yeah.
there's not like any way for her to live down there, but there would be ways of being able to interact with it just in a much more shallow way.
Yeah, to be close to it.
Yeah.
Usually in the Selkie stories, there's some element of like, I don't know that they're intended this way, but I'm gonna say almost like misogyny, like, like
Mm-hmm.
the men folk steal the seal pelt and force them to marry her, but I feel like I want to subvert that a bit. And like maybe she like willingly chose to like give her pelt to someone whom she trusted and
Hmm.
is not. I'm trying to think of a way to subvert this in a bit. Perhaps even that like she hid it from herself in some ways, trying to
Oh.
like find something different.
What if like she was scared and so she gave it to somebody and said like go as far away as you can.
Yeah, she was scared she would change her mind.
And maybe she's like traveling to try to find that creature that she gave it to, or I don't know.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about the travel element despite the boat.
Yeah.
'Cause the rest of it is so juicy. But it's like I
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to the why she's traveling yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could be traveling looking for what she lost, not realizing that she'd already had everything she needed.
Hmm.
Or there's also the idea that she's traveling to find out who she is now. Or this is not necessarily traveling, but it's like there's the metaphor of the boat above the sea being like almost like life and death. Like not
Mm.
literally because she can touch the sea, but she can't live under it anymore. So it's
Yeah.
like the separation between the realms, and that's like the vehicle that brings her between realms,
Yeah.
between ways of existing.
So that makes the setting like specifically this vessel that allows her to be on the sea instead of just on
Yeah,
the shore.
and I'm thinking maybe there's a lighthouse, but it's like in the direction she's coming away from,
Uh huh.
showing that she's leaving the shore and going out to sea in
Yeah.
search.
How far away from shore do you think she is? Like way out there or like within swimming distance or.
I think she might be able to swim it because
Right.
she's a former SEAL. She knows the ocean, but it would be difficult for a normal human to do it, and it's getting to like the cusp of like, you know, if you don't turn back, then you've started this journey. Like,
Hmm.
like you're on the cusp here, I
Yeah.
think. This may be getting a little bit away from like Lost though,
Hmm.
but I feel like Lost is also in many ways an opportunity for self-reflection and growth
Yeah.
in a painful way, of course, but
Hmm.
it can also be an interesting thing to work with grief and integrate it into your life. Well, not integrate the grief, but integrate what you learn about yourself while you're grieving.
Yeah. Like I can't help but think that as like writers, we like to put our characters in positions of conflict and loss kind of immediately launches us into that. Whether it's with what we
Yeah.
were before or what we want to be or what we thought we were, any kind of number of things.
Yeah. I always worry a little bit when my family is like, "We're gonna read your whatever that you just put out." I'm like, "Please don't." Like, I don't want you to psychoanalyze the things I'm putting out. Sometimes
Yeah.
the characters are just in situations, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the situations are actually traumas in a trench coat. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna tell which was which.
Yeah. So we have the Selkie in a human form on like a boat or like a huge ship. Are you thinking something like closer to the water?
Yeah, I'm thinking something closer to the water.
Yeah.
Like something that's almost like looking too small for like how far it seems like she's thinking of going.
Yeah.
Even though it's like I'm not sure like how accurate this would be, but like for my own mental image of it, I'm almost picturing like a tiny Viking ship, like a
Yeah.
Viking ship that's like big enough for like just a few people with the carved features and stuff, just because I find them visually interesting, and since
Mm-hmm.
that legend comes from that area, sorry, I feel like it could be a fun visual to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's even got some like, you know, not like to the point where it's not seaworthy, but it's got a little bit of like visible battle damage on it, which I feel like could play with the lost theme as well. Like
Yeah.
maybe this boat belonged to someone else and no longer does. There's a lot of ways to make that feel as if it has its own story and in some ways is as much a character as she is.
Yeah. And that's ultimately what I love about especially visual art is that you can make characters out of so many different aspects of the environment. Just like even things in the background can be so expressive.
I'm actually one of those weirdos that loves to draw backgrounds for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Most people hate it, but I think it's like adding so many interesting layers
Yeah.
to every part of the story is like, like what colors are there, what textures are there, what items are there. It tells a
Mm.
lot about like where these characters are experiencing and what they're experiencing.
Yeah. Like we say set a scene and like how are we supposed to do that without the backdrop?
The backdrop is important.
Yeah.
Travel was a rough one for backdrop, but I think we're getting there.
I think so.
Um,
I see the thought bubble.
yeah, well, I was thinking like, also because of the theme of loss, like, and I'm thinking of these colors in it. Like, I already mentioned the lighthouse. I'm thinking that the side that she's leaving is like lighter colors. Maybe not happy colors, but like, that's like she's going away from this like established, like unhappy safety in search for something better, even though it looks dark and scary and unknown.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of reminds me of how, like, we can make decisions that were right at the time and then have consequences later on that we start to regret the choice, even though it was what was right in the moment.
Yeah, gotta hate those consequences.
Yeah. Well, if this isn't the consequences of my own actions, but
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more interesting instead of playing with the like typical Selkie story of making her like have made this choice for some reason. I'm still not entirely sure why she would have
yeah.
done that, but it is it is more interesting than just being like it's sparkling misogyny.
Yeah. Where was she in her life before she left the ocean?
That's a good question. That'll tell us more about why she was curious.
Yeah.
There's also part of the Selkie story that I believe I could be wrong about this
Mhm.
because I'm not a Selkie expert, but I think they're supposed to have like really beautiful singing voices,
Hmm.
and maybe when she would venture onto the shore and sing, she really found a lot of validation in like the adoration she would get for being like this like beautiful singer,
Mm-hmm.
and she thought that that's what she wanted
Yeah.
in general rather than just like swimming around carelessly eating fish. And then once maybe she even like left and became a super successful performer and is very
Yeah.
beloved, but she has to pay like taxes and shit, like
Yeah.
that sucks. And she's just like, I just want to be a seal again and swim around happily eating fish in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, who among us doesn't think about just being a seal sometimes?
Well, I mean, as a non-binary trans girl, like I think about how validating it would be if you were just in a new world where everyone's like, "Oh, you're beautiful and I love everything about you." Like that would just be so tempting to just want to go there forever.
Definitely. I definitely visited places like I love Savannah, but sometimes when I go places that are in like a very blue area, I'm just like, I don't want to go back. And then I
Yeah.
go back and I remember that I have a community here that I love and like my
Yeah.
cat and stuff. But it is tempting sometimes just to be like, oh, I want to be where it feels like everyone is validating and not
Yeah.
just like I have to validate myself.
And like that would seem as good a motivation as any to me.
Yeah, I like it. I like giving the Selkie some gender fuckiness. I mean, we already decided she was trans, so let's play into that with her motivation for
Yeah.
leaving the sea, that she wanted to be loved and validated and seen,
And
but
adored, yeah.
adored. But now she also has to deal with everything else that comes with that, rather than
Mm-hmm.
having the fluidity of changing form at will.
Yeah. Is there like a specific event where like that panic comes from where like, oh, I can't go back?
I would say it would probably have to do something with like some really like bummer human stuff, just
Yeah.
like, you know, maybe even just compounding bummer human stuff, like, having to like pay bills and deal with taxes and like sign contracts and all this stuff that human brains were not really meant to think about, but that we've decided we need to do. And maybe it's just like a day where there's too many concerns of silly things that she would have never had to worry about if she was still a seal person.
Yeah.
And she's just like, actually, I don't want this. Not like this.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be something bigger, of course, but I frequently, like, the moments that I'm just like, I want to go be an animal and run off into the woods are usually around tax season when I'm
Yeah.
just like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Life could be so simple if we didn't worry about all this stupid bullshit.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of comes with the idea of like you get this external validation that is from like this manufactured industry of attention, but it comes with it all these constructions that she didn't anticipate.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely had that experience as an artist and performer myself of like sometimes you get exactly what you want, but it's also you start to chase the feeling of getting that rather than doing it for the love of it too, which is
Hmm.
it's like, drinking from the poison chalice at that point. Like you chase the reward rather than doing the action for love and being authentic, which is always a trap.
Yeah, because there's so much more travel than destination.
Yeah. And I feel like in a sort of like wibbly wobbly way, even her story ties into the idea of travel. Like she travels to land and
Yeah.
then back to sea in a different way. Like the travel is also the act of becoming and unbecoming and becoming again.
Yeah.
It's a liminal space of changing from one thing to another. There's a lot of
Yeah.
ways to interpret the travel in this card.
I like that. I think that incorporates it well.
Yeah.
Is she kind of like, and you said like kind of a rowing boat of some sort,
Yeah.
but more with the motifs of like a Viking kind of ship?
Yeah, like I don't think this is an authentic Viking ship if we're in
Okay.
modern times. This is someone's cool boat that they carved or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a small, very like personal, low to the ocean vessel that's like still very connected to the sea. Like you feel every movement in this thing. It's not a big ship that you can
Yeah.
kind of forget that you're on a ship.
Mm-hmm. And you see she's kind of imagining facing away from the light of the lighthouse.
Yeah, like she's facing forward, but maybe not because this card is also lost. I think that maybe she's wearing like a black outfit mostly, but she's got like a periwinkle, maybe shawl that's kind of blowing in the wind, and she's
Yeah,
holding a miniature and kind of like she's facing forward, but she's a little curled downwards against the cold, and also because
yeah.
she's sad
Hmm.
and she's used to being a seal, and she's like, why am I cold now? Because she's
Yeah,
thick and fluffy and blubbery.
poor thing. Does she have like a title or a stage name or?
I mean, I'm certain she does. Wouldn't it be funny if she like just called herself Selkie or the Selkie on stage or
Yeah,
something?
right.
Like played it entirely straight. I don't know why, but her name just flashed into my brain as Evelyn.
Hmm.
Do with that as you will.
Okay.
Her human name is Evelyn, and she also on stage would wear this like beautiful strand of pearls that are also like from the ocean. You know, that's like a connection there. Is like wearing this stone around your neck is both like an amulet, but also a little bit of like a reminder of where you came from.
Yeah, I'm picturing kind of like, is the word iridescent like the
Yeah,
like sparkly kind of scale kind of reflecty?
yeah,
I don't know why this is my reference, but like an Elsa dress kind of.
yeah, definitely. Like she would on stage, she would be very like iridescent, and she would look like. Now I'm thinking of something abstract that's not even as good a reference as Elsa, but back in the 90s when I was a kid, there was this show at SeaWorld that was like it was kind of a Cirque du Soleil type show, and
Hmm.
they had a lot of like costumes that were like very like sparkly and flowy and iridescent that
Yeah.
were part of the whole vibe of it, like to create the feeling that you were somewhere else. And I feel like even on stage, she would have had this persona of someone that felt very like ethereal and otherworldly, and like there would that definitely be that ocean connection, like that it looked like, you know, she wore things that were like almost the color of like fish scales or like
Hmm.
the sea on different days depending on her mood. Like maybe if she's having a good day, she's got more like turquoise colors on, but if it's sort of like the real struggle hours, she's got more like deep stormy grays and greens going in her color palette.
Hmm. I like that. And then green comes with this connection to envy.
I was right about to say like when you said that I was like, "Oh shit." And she's also like she was envying this life and now she envies her old life. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's good. I like it.
And then you have this like, so I'm colorblind, but my understanding is that periwinkle is that like a light blue,
It's sort of like a light purplish blue.
purplish blue? Okay, gotcha.
It's like right between them, a little bit closer to the blue side.
Okay, so not a lot of green in that.
No, that's more of a to me, I don't know, it's a very like mournful color to me. I don't know, I have like mild synesthesia. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but like colors definitely have feelings
Uh-huh.
and so do other things. I'm not going to get into it,
Yeah.
but like periwinkle's always been like the color of like even though obviously a stormy day is like gray, you know.
Hmm.
But like to me, like periwinkle is the color emotionally of a stormy day. Like it's an emotional stormy day. It's that kind of like bittersweetness or like nostalgia, but I don't know if nostalgia is the right word. Like there's another word that's close to nostalgia I can't think of, but you know, like that like melancholy, that's the word. Like,
Yeah.
you know, thinking of something that's a little sad, but you're not also not ready to stop mulling over it. Like, you know, you're stewing in it and you know you're stewing in it, but like that's your lot in life in the moment and you're like I've got to feel this way right now so that I can heal. Like that's
Yeah.
to me that emotion is periwinkle.
Yeah. She's very much like sitting with it because she's in this little boat. Is she by herself or is there somebody else?
I'm picturing her by herself in the boat, but also maybe there's like a seal who's perhaps another Selkie even swimming underneath the boat that she doesn't see.
Hmm.
Maybe they're even swimming the opposite direction, like two ships in the night. I feel like, of course, loss is like, often in a card shown as like very like, it's all a loss. But I think loss also plays into so many other things. Like if you lose something, you can find something new, or if you
Hmm.
lose yourself, you can find yourself. So I think it is kind of interesting to play with these other symbols that
Yeah.
add to the story of like losing and finding and sadness, but also a little bit of hope.
And you can also like feel loss for something you've never had before.
Oh, definitely. Trust me, as as a trans person, oh boy, do I feel that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I'm definitely going to draw the beautiful trans sulky woman, though.
that sounds amazing. So we have kind of the idea of the appearance of it, at least.
I have a very strong image in my mind, personally. I don't know about you.
I can see you seeing it. Where do we go with this in terms of the
The messaging.
yeah, the meaning, the themes?
I think this card is about you've experienced a loss, but it's also about finding ways to incorporate or move on from that loss and
Hmm.
find new meaning. It's about paying respects to whatever it is that you've lost, but not committing to like feeling that way forever necessarily.
Yeah.
Because of the element of travel, I think is an important part of it. Like it's journeying in some way through that grief.
Mm.
You're not just sitting there and moping, like you're doing something about it, even though at the moment it might not be a happy journey. You're going to come through it.
Yeah.
You're going to find something new or become something new in this process.
Yeah. I think that's also really important because it frames feeling as a state of motion. Because we like to think of feeling as like, oh, I'm not doing anything, but you're actually doing quite a bit when you're actually able to interface with what you're feeling.
And emotions are so fluid too. Like I have
Yeah.
really bad anxiety and sometimes I'll like, like I'll accept like, oh, this is just how I feel today. Like,
Hmm.
like I'm just gonna feel kind of low key panic all day and then like I don't know, like an hour or something later I'll be like, I was anxious an hour ago, but at the moment it feels like it's gonna be forever.
Yeah.
But my emotions were going through this little journey without me even noticing it. Very slowly, one step at a time towards stability.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this kind of emotional travel, this need to be able to reflect, or what do you think?
I think that the ocean does lend itself to the idea of reflecting. I
Sure.
mean, it literally can be reflective.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the ocean as a symbol for reflection as well. And also the ocean and water, of course, like the Suit of Cups is
Mhm.
emotions. So
Yeah.
that's like all the depth there. Maybe even, okay, here's another random thought with this card. Like she's above the water in a boat. Maybe it's like a disconnect with emotions. Like maybe you're not allowing yourself to feel that grief that you need to feel or that whatever other emotion it is. And in order to actually heal, you need to dive into those depths and you need to feel those feelings. You need to connect with that water in some way.
Yeah. Is the reflection of the Selkie in the water?
Ooh, I like that. Like maybe she's like human up here, but in the water you see her true form.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, I think that's even better than the another sulky thing. Like it's just her, but she has to reconnect.
Yeah. I think that's the other interesting thing is that they're both part of her.
They are both part of her. And like I feel like the idea of her being a selkie too is like you have to integrate all those parts of you. Like sometimes you try to just be like one version of yourself and you don't honor part of yourself, whether that's like your shadow self or your inner child
Mhm.
or something. And so this card I feel like is also representative of needing to do some shadow work.
Yeah.
Perhaps you need to try to integrate whatever it is that you were trying to get away from in order
Mhm.
to move forward.
Well, I think so much of like working with parts of yourself is like if you keep them separate, then you're splitting yourself into multiple pieces when you could just have multiple of you being in abundance that way.
Yeah. And maybe even like going back to the idea that she had purposely hidden or given away the seal skin, like maybe it's closer than she thinks, you know? Like
Mm.
there's this sense of loss, but also she can be found again in some way.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how to represent that in the art, but you know, maybe she's even forgotten where she put it. Wouldn't it be ironic? Okay, here's adding another random thing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like some kind of like chest or something on the boat with her. Maybe it's in there, but she doesn't even know.
That would be like the most me with ADHD thing where I'm like talking on the phone, being like, where's my phone? I can't find my
Oh
phone
yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. I've done that many a time. Where's where's my phone? Or like where's like you're eating and you're like, where did I put my food?
But
But you know, it might be closer than she thinks.
yeah, I think there's a lot of hope to that.
Yeah. I saw we got the theme of loss and I was like, oh, that could be real heavy. But I also want to put some hope into that because that's like even when I write a dark story, I like to include a thread of hope in it or
Yeah.
something because I think that's important, especially in like the world that we're living in right now. It's like so the news is constantly terrible and everyone's always like the world's on fire, the world's ending, and it's like there's so much of that that I like don't like to play into the idea that there's nothing good to live for. Like there's still plenty of beauty in this world and
Yeah.
plenty of good to be found and I like to, even if things are bleak, at least point out like things do suck right now, but have you just looked out your window and seen a cool bird lately? Or like,
Yeah.
you know, looked at your flowers even, or just like pet your cat. Like there's like so many simple little things that don't even like cost you a
Yeah.
bunch of money or time that you can appreciate and ground yourself in. And
Yeah.
and there's also this sense going back to the card of ungroundedness of being on the ocean
Mm.
because there's like that swirl of emotions and shadow work below her
Yeah.
and she's ungrounded literally and figuratively, and I do think it's important sometimes to remember what you have and to ground yourself in that.
Yeah. Random thought. What does the Ace of Cups refer to again?
Ace of Cups is like, I might get this wrong and my wife will be like, you got it wrong. But to me it's like a bubbling over of emotions, but like positive emotions,
Hmm.
kind of like overflowing love or bliss. It's like the beginning of something because the ace cards are all the start of something. So to
Right.
me, like that card coming up is like the beginning of like a new friendship or a new romance or a new if it's not like literally like that, it could be just something like that brings you some kind of joy that you're
Hmm.
beginning when you see the ace of cups.
Because I can't help but think that a boat is just a big cup.
It is a big cup. So maybe this is almost like a shadow ace of cups, not quite a reversed ace of cups, but where she is literally in the cup. But like it's like there's the sense of loss, but there's also the sense of like you can move forward
Yeah.
rather than drink from the cup. I guess you can leave the cup. In her case, leave the
Yeah.
boat.
I like that. Well, I think that means we're just left with what to call the card.
What to call the card? How have you named previous cards?
The main commonality is that they just all start with the.
Now I'm picturing like that SpongeBob writing gif where he's like, "I'm doing it." It just says the. Like now we're cooking with the gas.
Well, previous ones we've had were things like the rising tide, the ruins anew, the sparks reflection. It's usually 3 words, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. If you get any longer than that, that risks starting to like get into its own story.
Yeah.
Doing little jazz hands while I think. I like the word journey in it somewhere, like maybe the journey forward or even the journey inward, the journey deeper.
Hmm.
Deep incorporates the ocean.
Like the depths.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
I've been thinking, like, my first thought was just the depths, but
Ooh. No, I actually kind of like that, but also it does discount the travel element.
it's missing something. Yeah.
Journey to the depths.
Maybe.
I mean, you could add the journey to the depths, I suppose.
The under reflection? We already have our reflection.
You have a reflection.
Yeah, we have the sparks reflection is
Oh,
one of
right,
our
right, right,
cards.
right. The sparks reflection. I like depths because depths to me is also a very like dark and spooky word, and I feel like it goes along with it's emotional, and it feels like it goes along with both loss and ocean as a theme. But at the same time, it could also go along with travel because I mean, it's like an unknown. It's kind of like it's dark and spooky, but we're also curious about it. We all love those episodes of like Planet Earth where David Attenborough is like, "Here's the most fucked up fish we could find at the bottom of the ocean," and you're just like, "Oh, I love those guys." You're so curious about it.
Tag yourself. Me.
Yeah. I like the depths as part of the name.
The lost depths? That's hard to say.
Ooh, it is hard to say out loud,
It's
but
easy to read though.
it's easy to read. But that is a problem since you're literally reading it out loud
Yeah,
on a
you
podcast.
know.
Lost depths. Yeah, that is like a tongue twister.
There's a lot of consonants in there.
Yeah, it's that s and the sound.
Uh-huh.
Trying to think of synonyms for lost, but so many of
Uh-huh.
them have a different meaning than lost too.
Yeah.
Like forgotten is different.
Hmm.
It's too different. Hidden's closer.
Hidden feels on purpose though.
Yeah.
Missing?
That also feels too close to forgotten.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Anushka? Asking my cat. Turned around, showed me her butt, so that's her
Helpful.
answer. Helpful. Depths of loss.
Ooh.
Just flip it around. It's a little bit less intense to say. Can't use reflection because we've already done that one too recently.
Yeah.
Um, Depths of introspection.
Hmm. The deep something. Could also do something around skin, like the pelt.
That's true. Yeah, we could get a little bit farther away from like literally putting the words from the keywords in. Or it could even be like lost pelt or lost skin or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like that,
Yeah.
actually. Because in the additional, like just first reading that title, it's very visceral, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, you can take that in a metaphorical way, and it's like if you lose your skin metaphorically, it's like you are both kind of feeling raw emotionally, and you've lost your like identity that other people see you as.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Which one?
Either lost skin or lost pelt, whatever. When I think skin maybe is a little bit more like visceral to our human senses, but
It is.
I don't know if it's too visceral.
I can't tell either because I part of me really likes it and part of me is like, ooh, like kind of cringes
Yeah,
at
no,
it.
that's how I feel about it too. Like it's like very cringy, like not in like the like well not in the way like you would usually use cringy, but it's cringy in like a ouch.
In like a body horror kind of way.
Yeah, but it also because it's like a ouch, it's very like it kind of tells you immediately that you're feeling some pain and rawness in the situation. So it isn't a
Yeah.
bad name, but it's also like how much do you want to traumatize someone on the future of this podcast when you're just like, you have received the lost skin. And they're like, whoa, what did I do to deserve that? So I feel like maybe pelt might be better if you don't want to give someone nightmares, but that's up to you.
I do like that. I wonder if there is a synonym for skin that would work. I do like the lost pelt though.
I could also just be like straight up like lost identity or something like that,
Hmm.
but it's not quite as like fun or interesting as being a little visceral, I think.
The half of me?
Ooh, I like that. I think you're cooking with something now. I really like that. I feel like it actually encompasses everything that we were circling.
Yeah, or the half of her.
Yeah, which is like finding the part of you that you've lost and acknowledging your shadow self, or digging into those depths and finding the other half.
There's something thematic about it.
Yeah, I think that one's the winner.
Which one?
Well, the half of me or the half of her, depending. Probably the half of her, I suppose, because like you're not literally talking about yourself, we're talking about the character.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. I think
Okay.
that it encompasses the whole theme.
Yeah, I like it. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good name for that card.
I like it. I really like this card that we were able to make together. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for so much for having me.
Where can folks find you and your work?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram and Tumblr as Stray Song Dog, or you can go directly to my website, straysongdog.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have lots of wares. Soon I will have my brand new Divine Canine Tarot deck 2. Just sent that off to the printer literally the other day, so hopefully in about a month I'll be getting in like a zillion tarot decks and starting to ship those out. So if you like the idea of a tarot deck with a bunch of wolves, coyotes, foxes, and mythological canines with some really beautiful art, then that is on its way.
Absolutely.
You can also look that up on Kickstarter and late pledge to it. And I do also have a novel that just came out called Friendly Fire, which is also up on my website. Or you could go to any of your preferred booksellers' websites, doesn't have to be mine, and type in Friendly Fire by Zack Loup, and it will come up, and you can order it and support your favorite local bookstore.
We love a friendly neighborhood bookstore.
We sure do.
Well, thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And that brings us to the end of our show. A huge thanks to our wonderful guest. You can find us at our usual places on your favorite podcatcher or at otherworldsoracles.podbean.com. Thanks for joining us, and remember that magic is creation and creation is magic. Take care. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Autumn, you didn't ask for the 3 prompt cards from Zack. And now you're only thinking that because that's true. Yes, correct. You are right. I did not do that. I'm so sorry. But I did ask Zack what cards he would like to have in the deck, and he added Cardinal, Song, and Flight. He said he had birds on the brain. So there you go. I'm very sorry. I'm giving you each a gentle pat on the head. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening. And it's all going to be okay, even though I forgot the very premise of my own show. Okay, thanks. Bye.